Hi there, and a huge welcome to this special episode on the Voyage to Vitality channel, where we explore the power of laughter and its profound impact on our well-being. I'm Dawn Livingstone, host of the Transcend Succeed Show, and Laura and I are thrilled to be here as we delve into the joyous realm of laughter and its therapeutic benefits.
And I am Laura Cross, the host of Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross. And today we're diving deep into the theme, laughter is the best medicine, which I most definitely would have to agree. We will unravel the mysteries behind laughter, sharing insights into its history, the significance of April Fool's Day, pranks, and why incorporating laughter into your daily lives is essential for optimal health and happiness.
And since it's only a few days until April Fool's Day, we thought we'd kick off by exploring the origins and traditions of April Fool's Day, shedding light on the playful pranks and practical jokes that have become synonymous with this light-hearted holiday. So from harmless hoax to elaborate trickery, we'll discuss some of the most memorable pranks throughout history and their enduring appeal.
And right now, I would like to we're going to invite, we have a couple of guests with us, a couple of guests that have been with us through season 2 that were willing to come back and have some fun with us and share some of these pranks. So I would like to introduce Sherry Diamond, the founder of Balance for Life and
Hello.
Everything is Nuts, and Joy, who is the founder of Be the Difference Clothing, LLC. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Thanks
Welcome.
for having us.
So, I have a question. Do you guys even know the history of April Fool's Day or how it got started?
I don't.
Do you, Joy? Have you ever heard? I wasn't sure myself. So I had to go dig around and dig into it. So we found some fun facts. We found out that the exact origin of April Fool's Day is unknown, but it is believed to have started in France around the 16th century. So, and its earliest recorded April Fool's Day prank was played on April 1st of 1698. It was a humorous story published in a London newspaper that stated that the moon was visible from the earth. So it was kind of funny to watch this because it's actually, I don't know, I guess for some reason I always kind of thought of it as an American holiday, but it's actually all around the world. So in Scotland, April Fool's Day is celebrated for 2 days, on April 1st and April 2nd. The second day is known as Tally Day, or Tally Day. I'm sorry, Tally Day, where the people play pranks on each other's tails. So I have to ask, Dawn, since you're from Scotland, did you even know about that?
I have absolutely no knowledge of that whatsoever. Never heard of it. I think somebody maybe has invented that. I have never heard of Tally or Taily Day at all. It's definitely not a holiday as such. It's a one day where we all play pranks and we'll have pranks played on us. But I've never heard of that, I have to say. Sorry.
Okay. Well, it also says in France, April's Fool Day is known as, and I'm not French, so I will apologize right now if I'm going to mess this up, but Poisson d'Avril, it says, which means April fish. It's customary to place a paper fish on someone's back without them knowing.
Poisson d'Avril.
Well, see, there you have it.
And I've got something I can tell you about that. And this was many, many years ago. It's talking about an April Fool's prank with fish. Friends took this huge fish and wrapped it in foil, nice and tight, and put it on the engine of a friend's car. And when our friend was driving around, and of course he had this baking fish smell throughout the car, and couldn't find it for like 3 days. That must have been absolutely disgusting.
See, and when Dawn says that, that just reminds me of, if you ever watch some of the shows of what they do down south or when they're out moonshining or whatever, I'm like, that's just, a person's grill. You just use that for grilling your fish.
That's just wrong on every level.
Yeah.
I don't eat fish, so either way, it's okay. Have you ever heard of such a thing, Sherry?
I've never heard of that, but that prank with fish, I think that's a horrible thing to do to people. I eat fish, but that smell, like if you leave it out too long or, you know what I mean, you don't cook it, just that little bit of smell, that's the worst. I could never.
Well, you think that's bad. Listen to this one. Sorry, I forgot to lock my cat out and she's running around. I also heard that a husband and wife, they divorced and the house was being sold, and the wife was really angry with the husband for making her sell the house. So she bought a tray of prawns, you would call them shrimp, and she stitched them into the very bottom lining of the curtains in the living room. And you can imagine,
oh my God,
over the time it started to rot, and people they had pulled up the carpet thinking it was the carpet, but they never thought of replacing the curtains. So there you go. So you think that the fish on the car engine was bad? That was worse.
Oh yeah, I know we lost Joy for a second, but we were sharing with everybody about this tradition in France for April Fool's Day. And I go ahead and pronounce it, Dawn, because I'm going to slaughter it.
Poisson d'avril.
So it means April fish, and apparently it's customary to place a paper fish on someone's back without them knowing. Now, when I read that, see, Dawn went a whole nother row about a prank that she pulled on somebody wrapping up a fish. But I think of when, the old jokes when you used to play on people where you give them a hug, you think like you're being sincere and you're actually sticking a sign on their back. That's kind of what that makes me feel like, or reminds me.
Yeah, I remember those. I got plenty of those when I was a kid.
What about you, Joy?
No, like when I was a kid, they were rough. They weren't doing paper or anything. They're going to trip you, or they're going to tell you something crazy, like something bad happened in school or something crazy. But it was never anything juvenile. It was like, for real. Like they would go to the extreme to try to like prank you. So
they should have done a show, Joy, called The Extreme Prankover.
They should have. They really should have. You remember that show Punk'd? Did you guys ever watch it?
Yes, I love that show.
That's kind of the pranks that they did on April Fool's Day.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Wow. And I can't say that we were always nice, because I can remember when I was younger, my mom loved her tea and always had to have tea in the morning. And of course, she has to have sugar in the tea. So in the little sugar pot, where you take the thing off, my sister and I would stick a black plastic spider in there. You knew when she found it because you heard the screams. Oh, sorry. May not. When you're a kid, that was pretty funny for us, but I'm sure not so funny for my mother. And of course, we got yelled at for it, but it was worth it.
Funny.
So, but one of the other things we have, fun facts we found, is even in India, in Holi, the Festival of Colors. They actually celebrate it on April 1st, and it's a day of pranks, jokes, and laughter. And people play pranks on each other with colored water and powders.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, we'll start with Joy. Do you ever participate in April Fool's Day?
Not anymore. No, because like I don't even remember like the dates anymore. Like life is too much fun to like, But like I feel like I've done so many pranks on people and scared people half to death so many years of my life that it's just haunting me now. So I get scared. I get scared of like the quickest and the easiest things, and like, yeah, I'm just like, I'm getting payback now.
I was gonna say, you feel like karma's coming back at you.
Yeah.
You want to tell us one of those, or share with us one of those or two of those that you did? A couple of them?
All right. So I'm trying to think of like one that was really, really bad. All right. How about this? So with the friends and former coworkers, I used to like hide behind a wall and I would hear them coming back in the office and I would just like jump out and scare them. And that was pretty really, really, really scary for me to do. And I didn't just wait for April Fool's Day. I used to do this like on a routine basis. Okay, like it didn't have to be a holiday for me to do a prank on you, you know. But for April Fool's Day, I think most of the things that kind of got me were the memes online. But people never really, you know, did anything to startle me like later in life. But as a kid, it must not have been memorable enough for me to remember right now. But I'm pretty sure we were pretty cruel to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Dawn and I were having a discussion about that one time. And I said, I don't necessarily remember any pranks being played on me, but I do know that I'm kind of I'm hyper vigilant about that day and expect things. So I kind of look out for it, which probably is a sign that something probably did happen when I was younger that I may not necessarily remember, but I know when that day's around, and I know when someone says something to kind of like seriously look at them to see if they're going to crack a smile to find out if they're really serious or is it that. So I think it's telling me that something probably happened to me younger.
Well, at school, all I remember from April Fool's Day at school was going in on high alert. I had eyes in the back of my head. I was just looking out for anything that might have been coming my way. I don't remember ever playing pranks on anybody. Don't remember that at all. But yeah, I know I was always hyper vigilant. Yeah, just in case I would end up in the hospital or something. Because kids were pretty mean at school.
Oh, yeah.
They were pretty mean at school. I was glad to get away from there. Yeah.
Oh, they were, and they probably happened. Mine is probably mostly from school, either that or my sister. I did have an older sister, so
Laura, I think you must have been pranked somewhere because you're still in the trauma of the prank.
So yeah, before I tell you a couple of things that's probably made me hyper vigilant, and it wasn't always on April Fool's Day. Sherry, what about you? Is that something that?
Well, in the beginning, when I first came on, we were talking, I said, I don't even remember any pranks. But as we're going along, I started thinking. And one of the things I did to my mom when I was like in grade school, my mom was meticulous about her clothes and her shoes. And so when she wasn't home one day, like it was either the day, it was like a weekend that it was April Fool's. I know it was a weekend, right? And she was gone and she went somewhere, was running errands. And I went in her closet and I took one of every shoe and put it in a huge bag and I hid it in the basement. So when she went in her closet, and then I turned every other shoe in her closet around pointing the wrong way. Because I knew when she opened the closet and she saw that, she'd be like, what the hell is going on here? Right? And so she went up she came home and she was just doing stuff. And I was waiting for her to go upstairs, but I knew it wouldn't be for a while. So I was just doing my own thing. And she went upstairs and I heard her go, what the hell is this? And she yelled my name. She's like, Sherry. And I was like, what? She goes, get up here. And I go upstairs. I go, what? She goes, did you do this? And I went, why do you think I did it? She said, because this looks like something you would do. And I went, April Fool's. And she went, April Fool's? I said, yeah, it's April Fool's Day. She said, get out of here and go find those shoes. And where did you hide them? And I went to the basement and I got them and I brought them up. And she made me put them all back together the correct way. I was so mad because my prank came back to bite me in the butt. And she didn't think it was funny. She didn't even think it was funny for a minute. And I was like, okay, so I never did that again. But I had a prank pulled on me. I've had lots of them, especially the one about the note behind your back. When I was a kid, I got bullied a lot. And kids used to put notes on me that say, kick me, ignore me, you know, that, and people would start messing with me. I'd be like, what are you doing? And then I didn't get used to it, but I figured out what was going on. And one of my friends, every time she saw me and there was a note, she would give it to me, and I collected them and I saved them. And then I took them to the office and told the principal, these are all the notes that people are posting on my back because they don't like me.
Oh, wow.
I know. It was so sad
Oh.
that I'm laughing about it now.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's fun when you can laugh about it now. And it's funny because when that comes around, normally April Fool's, it's like, it's funny when you can pull on stuff, but we don't really normally think about what or how it's done to the other person.
Right. But I think the reason we can laugh about it now is because you've really understand and worked out the reason why people did it. And now we don't care. You know what I mean? When you're a kid, especially with me, everything was, whatever happened, it was like major. And if it happened to you and it happened to me worse.
Yeah.
Right.
I can tell you where I was made an easy target. If anyone that knows me knows, I do not like horror films and horror movies. My mom used to watch them.
Me either.
Yeah, my mom used to watch them all the time. And those would be the only rated R ones I was invited to go to because she knew I'd say no. But I would get engrossed in stuff. Well, the one time, does any of you guys remember the movie The Swarm? And that's not really a horror, but at the time, for me when I was younger, it was not one that I liked, The Swarm with all the bees. We're sitting there as a family watching this on the couch. And guess who I got sitting next to me? My mom. And I'm all engrossed in this movie, watching it. And I'm watching all these bees and it's intense. And all of a sudden my mom takes her fingers and goes in my ear. I flew out of that freaking couch. And she was just laughing. I was like, from then on, I learned if I'm going to watch a scary movie, I watch with a chair with the wall to my back because I've had people fly down the stairs and go over the couch and watch me fly out of the couch. And I'm like, nope, because my heart goes clean up in my throat. I'm about ready to kill somebody. I'm like, not funny. I'm like, give me a heart attack.
Laura, when I was a kid, I was very young. I think I was 4 or 5 years old. My cousin and my brother were babysitting me, and they took me because they were like 10 and 12. They were older, and they could take me to the movies with them. Well, they had to take me because they couldn't leave me home. I was too little. And they took me to see the very first 3D scary movie that was ever made. And 5 minutes into it, I was freaking out. I spent the next 2 hours under the seat, on the sticky, disgusting floor of the theater, watching the lights flash on, you know, when the screen, you can see the flashing of what's going on in the screen and people screaming. And I screamed for 2 hours. Nobody cared. Nobody took me out of the movie. I was traumatized for life.
Oh my God.
And the only other movie that I watched since then, because I got somehow talked into it, was when The Exorcist came out. But it was on TV. So I was with some friends and they're like, oh, come on, you're older. It won't be a big deal.
No, that's a real
That was it. That did me in for the rest of my life.
Yep.
I can't, if I go to the movies and there's a trailer, I'm already closing my eyes, looking away and doing this because I can't hear any of the hissing, the slashing, nothing, because I get freaked out. I mean, really freaked out. Wow. Where after that happened, for the next year, well, here's a little fun fact. At the time, we lived in a very small little like matchbox house with 5 people. My parents, my brother, me, and my grandparents. Actually, it was 6 of us. Is that 6? Yeah, that's 6. I can't even count. See, I'm so traumatized, I can't even add.
Sorry, I didn't mean to bring up trauma. This is supposed to be fun.
No, it's okay. But anyway, no, I'm kidding. But anyway, I had this dream. I used to sleep in a crib. I slept in a crib until we moved out of that house when I was 5 and a half. And I slept in the same room with my brother. And every day I woke up and I was terrified because I had a dream every single night for a year that I was driving in the car with my mom and I would look over and she was a monster. Wow. And I would every morning I'd wake up out of the dream and just dive right into my brother's bed And one morning he woke up and I was sleeping on top of him like this because I was petrified from being traumatized. I mean, that's how bad it affected me. It was horrible.
Mm-hmm. I must admit, I saw it as well and was not happy. Not happy it did. It traumatized me for a while. I was quite young when I saw it. Yeah, not good. I'll tell you about a prank my husband played on me. I suppose I've forgiven him, but when we were living in San Francisco, and I love everything science fiction, everything cosmic, all of that kind of stuff. Love watching science fiction movies and, aliens come on Earth, this kind of thing. And it was a Sunday morning, either a Saturday or Sunday morning. And I woke up to him going, honey, go on, come and have a look at this. And I'm like, what's going on? It's like, there's a spaceship above the Golden Gate Bridge. I was half asleep, leapt out of bed. He was like, where? Show me. So he's pulling me into the living room. And as soon as I opened the curtains, he was dying laughing. And I'm like, that was nasty. I was in my slumber. That was mean.
That is mean. I'm going to just say that's mean.
I was like, oh yeah, April 1st. That was rotten. That's the spot. You got me in that one.
Did you get him back?
Actually, I don't think I have. I'll need to think about that seriously. Yeah, very serious.
It's never too late.
I know.
Yeah, it's never too late.
Never for him. He's a total torment, and I'll tell you, I would appreciate any ideas you guys have got. Just message me and tell me.
Well, I can tell you what my ex-husband did when we were married. On a Saturday night, we went out on a date. We had the best time, and we came home, and he walked in the house. I walked in, and I went in the bedroom to put my things down on the bed, and all the lights went off. And I was like, oh, what just happened? Do we have a power outage? And I don't hear, he's not answering me. So I'm walking around, feeling around in the dark, because you can only see so much in the dark, right?
Right.
And I'm calling his name and where are you? And now I'm starting to get upset because what if something happened to him? And that's why the lights are out. And you start thinking, oh my God, somebody came in the house and somebody else is here. And I kept yelling his name. And I'm like, if this is a prank, I'll kill you. But if this isn't, you still have time to redeem yourself. And this went on for like 5 minutes. And I found my way to the door and I slammed it really hard. And I walked out and I hid around the corner. Even though it was dark out, I knew I was outside. And I just stood there and he came running out the door, but he didn't see me because I was like over here and the door's over there. So he ran out and went like this. And he's like, he walked back and he goes, what are you doing here? I said, what are you doing here? And he said, I'm looking for you. I said, isn't that funny? I was looking for you in the dark. And he said, it was just a joke. I said, well, here's the 411. Your joke sucks. You know, I hate stuff like this. Why would you do it? It wasn't even April Fool's Day. It was just a Saturday night. And I just said to him, thanks for ruining a really fun night. And he goes, oh, come on, don't be like that. Have a sense of humor. I said, I had a sense of humor up until you wouldn't answer me. So then we got into this huge argument about this stupid prank. And it was just crazy.
I would say that's a prank that's gone too far.
Gone wrong, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he thought it was hysterical. Hysterical.
I think men have a different idea to pranks than women do.
Well, and I think, but the other thing that's funny is when you do it to men, they don't always think it's so funny.
It's never funny when the shoe's on the other foot.
Exactly. So because of those two things, I mean, April Fool's Day, I was like you, Laura. I was vigilant in school because I knew somebody was going to pull a prank. It's just inevitable. But other than that, it's no big deal. It's kind of like, for me, it's like St. Patrick's Day. You know, St. Patrick's Day, I think, is if you're Irish, you should celebrate being Irish. It's a beautiful thing. But if you're not, why do I have to care if I'm wearing green or not? Because you're going to pinch me? I mean, like, I don't get all that. It doesn't make sense in my logical brain. So St. Patrick's Day has never been any big deal to me either.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's talk a bit about happiness then, because what are the sort of things that you do? Joy, I'll ask you first, but what are the fun things that you do then that make you laugh, that makes you really belly laugh, like to your soul?
Wow, that's a good question. I think now life is nothing but a belly laugh. Like, it depends on how your spirit is, and I'm in the spirit now in the season of just pure happiness. So, like, something that can make me laugh is just seeing beautiful babies, just cute little babies, and just different things. I think because my heart is so light right now, anything I can find joy in and happiness. And before, it used to be hard for me to laugh, but now, like I said, anything can make me laugh. And even like just going to different events, meeting different people, certain things that people can do, like different motions, facial expressions, that just is funny to me. And it's not like laughing at somebody, but it's more so laughing like, man, life is beautiful. So, like, in a nutshell, that's the only way I can answer it right now. It depends on where your heart is, and it's light right now.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It is if you're in alignment with happiness and joy, then that's what you're going to experience, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. What about you, Sherry?
And if you note on how you feel when you're laughing, you're happy, you're a lot lighter feeling. The world is, to me, the world is not so heavy, which is why humor and laughter really has a lot of health benefits. But,
absolutely. I mean, it's a choice as to whether we decide life is light or heavy. If we find it heavy, then that's what we're going to experience. If we want it to be light, then we need to choose that it's light. And that's what we'll experience. So, yeah, Sherry, what about you?
Well, this is really easy for me because I am one of those people, ever since I was really young, I wake up happy all the time. I never wake up like, I will say maybe as an adult when I didn't like a job I had or something and you're like, oh, now I have to get up and do this. But I'm always happy with my soul. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, and I think Laura and I talked about this on her podcast way back when, I was the kid that would wake up and run down the stairs in the morning and turn the corner and come in the kitchen and go, good morning. And my mom would be like, don't talk to me. I don't want to hear anybody talk to me. It's too early. Go find somebody else because I'm not having a conversation with you.
I've not had my coffee.
What?
I've not had my coffee yet.
She would be drinking her coffee and she didn't want to talk to you in the morning till she'd been up for a while. She was just like that. And me, I wake up and I want to talk. And when I was married, I used to wake up and if I woke up first and then he would wake up and he'd look at me and all I had to do is have my eyes open and he would say, Diamond, do not talk to me. I'm not ready. I'll let you know. Because as soon as I wake up in the morning, most people are like fumbling around and they're really, I wake up and I'm really happy and I feel good. And all you have to do is say, good morning, and we're off to the races. And I just want to chat, right? And that's just how I've been. But I will say that, like Joy, that it's really how you feel. If you can find happiness in anything, like I'm not going to say I'm never unhappy, but my mode of operation normally is I am happy because what's the alternative? And if I'm not happy, why am I not happy? And what do I have to do to make myself happy? Like Joy, you said, well, right now I'm in this good place. And you have joy in your heart and you're happy in your heart, but you never used to be. So something must have happened to you where you figured out you needed to change that, like we all do. And that's the best part of being happy, is when you can figure out you need to be happier, and what do you need to do to fix it?
Yep. Very true. That is very true. Laura, what makes you laugh or makes you happy?
Oh, well, for one, I got to say, I can't imagine a time when joy doesn't fit her name.
Yes.
Ever since I've met her, she's a joy to be around. She's always bubbly. I'm sure we all, like Sherry says, we're all not always happy and stuff. But
Right.
it's kind of like what everybody's been saying. Once you find within yourself that it's okay to be you, you're not too sensitive, you're not too this, and you can live your true self, that just really makes me happy. Of course, I have Dakota to entertain me every now and then with his antics or facial marks or whatever, and a lot of times he's shared some things where it's like, okay, it's not that I don't like seeing him in pain, it's just the way he distorts his face and does stuff. And if I'm overtired, guess what? I've got the giggles because I can't stop. It's not that I don't care, but if I'm overtired, I just have this thing where I just can't control it, and I just start giggling and laughing. He's like, I'm glad my pain is causing you. I'm like, it's not that. I care that you're in pain. It's just his whole facial expressions. It's almost like, having a comic, strip around. But yeah, I just, and it's like Joy said, it just simple things that maybe you used to bug, but if you take the judgment out of it and you just see it for what it is, and not get all judgy. It's like you see kids doing the silliest things, things that you might see on a poster. We went in town one time and we're at this big festival, and apparently this little kid had to go. Oh, no problem. He just turns around and starts peeing on the things in the side of the house.
Oh my God.
I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, the parents are just standing there. Everybody's just waiting for the parade to come, and he's done doing his thing. And I was like, wow, okay. But, it's just funny. It's just more fun when you can enjoy things more. And that's why Dawn and I really kind of wanted to do this for a quarterly special. We do a lot of episodes, and we've all been through some kind of journey, which a lot of it has some kind of tragedy that got us to where it is, that I think we forgot to laugh. We forgot about the humor, and it is so much healthier to be cheerful and happy. I've met people that would probably see Sherry and say, yeah, no, that person's like way too happy for
Exactly.
way too happy for me.
But no, don't laugh. I've had people say to me, say that to me. You're just way too happy. Nobody's this happy all the time. But it's just ingrained in who I am. It's not like I said, I woke up one day and I said, okay, I'm going to just piss off the world and be happy all the time. No, it's just how I am. I can wake up and maybe the day isn't going great, but it doesn't mean I can't be happy. These are situations that sometimes are out of our control, but it doesn't mean how you feel inside that you can't be happy, right? And the other thing I just want to quickly interject is, before we started, I mentioned to you and Dawn that that's one of the things I miss right now. People aren't belly laughing. If I want a belly laugh, I have to watch like a comedy on Netflix or something, because that's when I really belly laugh, because people are like, oh yeah, huh, that's funny. And there was a time when people were like dying laughing over things, really belly laughing, and people don't do that anymore. And I'm not sure why. And I miss it. Like when you're around people that they're talking and smiling and they're happy, but nobody's really laughing.
Yeah.
Well, it's very simple. There's a very simple answer to that, but we don't have to get into that right now.
No. What is it? If it's simple, say it.
It's simple. We're inundated with too much data. Stuff that.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. We could get into that, because that's the ruination of everything as far as I'm concerned.
Well, just
let's not go there.
Take it a time, because if once we start going down that rabbit hole, it's never ending.
So, Joy, you and I need to talk a different time.
We're all familiar with that rabbit hole. I will tell you one thing that always kind of made me laugh. Well, first I was worried about my TV, but anyone that knows my fiance knows he's a Raider fan through and through. No, he's not from California. He's from North Dakota, but he's always loved the Raiders, loves the saying, real men wear black, speed kills. That's just a thing. He's been a Raider fan. So when me and him first started going out, and he's calmed down now since then, but when me and him first started going out, I had DirecTV. I got a DVR, so I'd record all the games for him. He gets in there. The next thing I know, he's yelling, screaming, and he's all mad because they did some stupid play, blah, 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 blah. And then what does he do? He hits rewind and backs it up to watch it. I'm like, I'm like, okay, you just came close to wanting to throw a brick through the TV, which at the time they had foam bricks, and I really thought I should invest in one before I lost the TV, but he controlled himself. But I'm like, so what? You rewind it so you can get pissed off all over again? I'm like, I don't get it. But it was funny to watch. He gets so involved with his football and his racing that, you know, you kind of can't help but to laugh. It's just like, okay.
And I agree about, you know, the comedy shows really do give me quite the belly laugh. That's the only thing I can think of actually that comes to mind that really makes me laugh so deeply. But I think to lift my mood and make me feel happier. I don't know how you guys feel about country singers, but I just love Chris Stapleton. I love his music. It just lifts my spirit completely, and even more so when I sing along. At least there's nobody in the house, because I can empty a room in 2 seconds flat, trust me. But I think to actually get the words out, because I duet with him, you know, he has me duet with him every so often, and I can sing harmony a little bit for him, and that really lifts my spirit, you know. Yeah, so as long as nobody's there to listen to me, and hopefully the neighbours don't think that I'm being attacked or anything. But
so here's the realization I've come to.
Yeah.
Who cares what anybody else thinks? If you're singing and it makes you happy, then that's what it is.
I usually do. I just wonder how they would view it if they heard me.
Oh, who cares? I was at Discount Tire. This guy is singing away to whatever music in there working on the cars. And the guy's like out here waiting, saying, oh, maybe he should stick to his daytime job. I'm like, at least he's happy. He could be yelling or cursing or damaging your car. And it's like, oh, good point. I mean, everybody always wants to go to the negative. Why not be happy?
Well, because that
person's happy.
But you see, that's the world we're living in right now.
Yes, it's the norm.
Instead of saying, oh my gosh, this guy is so happy, I'm so happy for him, we go and we start judging. And the only reason we do that, or the people who do that, is because they're the ones who aren't happy. That's it.
Yeah. And that's very true. So much horrible things going around and all the fear stuff. It's not good. It's not good for your soul. Mm-hmm.
And that stuff people would do too, where you'd be sitting there singing away and they're like, oh, who sings this? And you tell them, oh, maybe you should leave it to her or him, whatever. I'm like, yeah, well,
I don't care.
Who asked you? Don't care. Don't care.
All right. Yeah. Do we have time for some jokes? Who wants to tell us some jokes? Some daft ones from school, or does anybody have any they want to tell? Sherry?
I do not have any jokes, but I can tell you about like little things we used to do when we were kids. We would call people and prank call them. Mm-hmm. And we would just call, like I mentioned to you guys, we would call and say, hi, is your refrigerator running? And the people would go, of course it is. I think so. I'd be like, well, then you better run outside and catch it. And we would hang up. And we would do dumb things like that. And we would be dying laughing in somebody's kitchen. And when you think about it, when you get older, it was so horrible that we did that. And even worse, that we thought it was so funny. Like we used to belly laugh. And then later on, or the next day or on the weekend, we'd go, remember that lady we called? Remember what she said? And we'd start laughing all over again. And it's like, it's so mean. So I'm going to ask for forgiveness for all of that.
You've been forgiven.
I'm sure you already have.
Yeah, I'm sure you already have. What about you, Joy?
Just the other day, I was on one of the social media platforms, and I'm probably going to get it wrong. It's a little raunchy, but they asked a question of what's the difference between hormones and I don't remember the other thing that they said. I don't want to mess it up, but it was funny because of the way the lady responded. And what was it? It was hormones and, let's just say, what's the difference between hormones and testicles or something like that? And then she was like, something like you can't hear a hormone or something like that. You had to hear it. I could pull it up. I could pull it up if you want to.
I think I know the one you mean. I think I saw it.
So you saw that one too, right?
It
And she
was
was like,
very
Grandma.
similar.
Yeah, she was like, Grandma, what is the difference between the two of them?
Uh-huh.
And then she
Yeah.
was like, well, you can't hear a hormone. You get it?
Yes, I
So,
do remember it.
but I just, it would have sounded so much better if I remembered the other word versus hormones.
Yeah.
Something
Some
like
of,
what does it
see,
sound
some of
like?
us were made to tell jokes, and some of us weren't, and some of us kind of just didn't care. We share anyway.
Yeah. It was funny. I don't know. Let me think of it, and then I'll get back to you because now I'm determined
Now you're
to say it
determined to
so that
find
you can
it.
get the
Now
whole
we got to
effect.
think it.
Yes, I'll be back.
Well, I can tell you when I was younger, we used to do a lot of family road trips, whether it was a camper or the car. And when you're going long miles, you do all kinds of different things to keep yourself entertained besides I Spy. And, you can only do 100 bottles of beer on the wall for so long. And you go to knock knock jokes. So we used to do knock knock jokes a lot when we were kids.
Mhm.
And so for whatever reason, one of my favorite ones was if you were to say knock knock.
Who's
Good.
there?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Now you got me.
I'm a sucker for any joke, so I'll play with you.
So, banana.
Banana
Banana
who?
who?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Banana.
Banana
Banana
who?
who?
I'm telling you, you'll drive your parents crazy. Knock knock.
Oh,
Who's
no.
there?
I'm already crazy.
Come on, one more.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Oh, aren't you glad you're not a banana?
Banana.
Orange, you glad I didn't say banana again.
There we go.
You can normally pull them along for so long, but we used to do it just to drive, it's just things to drive your parents nuts.
Mm-hmm.
It was entertaining for us because we get bored in the back seat of the car, besides you're touching me, you stop touching me, this is my half, We found ways to entertain ourselves.
Yeah,
We played
so
games on road trips because my parents used to go to the automobile club place and the office, and you could buy packages of things to take with you on a road trip for kids to play games. At every vacation we ever went in the car, my mom was there 2 days before getting all the games because she didn't want to hear us bugging her or my dad. And we did. We played games like you had to find all the license plates of all the states. And then if you had to find certain animals. So we would be looking out the window, like we'd be like this, looking for everything because we wanted to win. So we didn't bug anybody. We were having the best time.
Yeah, well, some of them lose their effect after a while. We used to count train cars if you're going by a train
so
track,
did
trying
we,
to count.
yes.
So we came up with the same number, or one of
That's
our
a
fun
good
things.
one. I like that one.
Yeah, we used to do I Spy, but then of course we never used to trust each other to not cheat because you didn't want them to be able to guess it. So you just kind of like keep changing your mind what you saw.
Oh, that's funny.
So it was always our family was a little bit competitive. What can I say? It's always a little bit of competition going on somewhere. What about you, Dawn?
Well, the jokes, I don't really remember too many jokes, but the knock knock one that we used to, that sticks in my mind was, well, let me explain something first. Do you guys have Avon here?
Do we have what?
You have
Yeah.
Avon.
Avon.
Okay.
Yep,
Well,
we have Avon.
Thing was round it when I was younger, a catalogue used to come through the door and a doorbell would ring, just to let you know that there was something through there. So it became the joke where it's knock knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Avon calling, your doorbell's broken. Because they used to ring the bell. They used to ring the bell, and now they get, I know. Very bad. It still makes me laugh.
I found a joke.
Okay.
So, what's the difference between an enzyme and a hormone?
That's right.
What?
Well, you can't hear an enzyme.
Oh my God.
Get it?
Yeah. I know where that's going.
Yes, I found it.
Dakota finds jokes like that. Yeah, Dakota finds jokes like that. As a matter of fact, I think Dakota found that one and shared that with me. I just had forgotten about it.
Yeah, that's the one I saw yesterday, and that was the one that's most relevant to my mind right now because I thought it was so funny. Like once I finally got it, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is funny." But that is a testament to show that like there's real joy and laughter for in my life right now, because normally I would be like, y'all are dumb. But like, it really is funny. The way, the tone of her laughter and the way she was reacting is like outside of just the joke itself, the whole nucleus of everything was just funny.
There you go.
You know, I have to say, it's just, so one of the times we got tickets, Jeff Dunham, if you guys know who Jeff Dunham is, he was in Denver. I got tickets for him and my parents and my fiance and our friends. The 6 of us went. We were all sitting there, and all of us were laughing so hard the entire time. You're actually going like this because your cheeks hurt, you know, but we had a really good time. But I think that is the first time in a really long time that any of us had just laughed that long and really enjoyed the evening. I mean, obviously, if you don't smile very much. If laughing like that, you know, for an hour and 45 minutes, it makes your jaws hurt because you just felt every muscle that you didn't normally use. But it was a really good time. That just reminded me of that. He's one of my favorites. I like him between Peanut and Walter and Jose Jalapeno on a stick.
When I need a good laugh, I like to watch the Joe Coy Netflix specials he's done because he's hysterical.
He's funny.
I'll have to look that one up. I'm not familiar with that one.
He's got, I think, 4 of them already, and he's working on a new one. He is really funny because he really, his humor is all about the truth, and it's hysterical. I mean, he is hysterical. You will belly laugh for sure.
Cool. Well, I really appreciate you ladies coming on and joining us today. I think we just wanted to be able to, you know, keep things kind of light and fun because I don't think we have enough of that around today.
Definitely
it was really
not.
fun. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and hearing some of the poor tragedies you guys had to go through.
Well, I will share with you one more because I think you guys will get a good laugh out of it. I got paid back from my mom pretty much one time. Any of you guys remember Mutual of Omaha? That show? Of course. I'm laying on the couch. You have to picture. So I'm laying on the couch. I'm watching these iguanas on this island. And I am like totally engrossed with this. Now, on top of the old TV is this little baby stuffed alligator that we had gotten from Florida some years ago that I'm fine as long as it's not in anyone else's hands. Other than that, then I would just lose it. My mom asked me to do something. I answered, but I really wasn't paying attention and she knew it. Somehow she walked across that TV without me even noticing her because I'm focused on iguanas, grabbed that alligator. Next thing I know, I had this baby alligator 2 inches from my face. I flew up out of the couch. I was screaming, stomping back and forth all over that couch. And my mom could not stop laughing. She goes, now that I have your attention,
oh,
I can laugh about it now. But I'm like, oh my God. It's like, okay, I suppose I deserved that because I was just answering out of automatic response, you know, because like I heard her, but I didn't hear her because I'm busy watching and learning about iguanas. So
wow.
I would say from the spiders and the sugars, mom and sugar bowls and stuff, mom's had her chances to get even.
Get her own back. Yeah. Well, thank you, ladies. It was lovely to have you here.
It was fun. Enjoy. It was nice to meet you.
Likewise.
All right. So we're just going to stop for a quick break. So stick around. We will be right back.
We got soul, oh yeah, we got soul. Feeling good, let me lose.
Hello, my name is Peter. I'm a Dawn Master. I teach Qigong at the Bright Beings Academy. What kind of Qigong do we teach? Well, it helps you to get your mind into your body and your breath very quickly. We really start off with quite quick movements to help cater for the busy Western mind, coming into stretching out the meridians, waking up the chakra system and the danjons, coming into Jigan meditation, which helps you to really focus on the energy in and around your body, bringing you into that beautiful calm state where you can sit and meditate really easily, whereas maybe before you found it really difficult. So Qigong at the Bright Beings Academy will help you get more in touch with yourself.
Holy Hydrogen introduces the most powerful health enhancement device in the world, the Lord's Hydrofix Premium Edition. Studies have shown therapeutic potential for cancer, diabetes, digestive and heart issues, and essentially every organ and system in the body. Visit holyhydrogen.com to see the latest technology that elevates your immune system and fights inflammation. This isn't medical advice, but if you have any health concerns, I strongly recommend that you learn more about hydrogen. Visit holyhydrogen.com to learn more about this groundbreaking gold standard hydrogen generator that for a reasonable price creates therapeutic quality hydrogen gas for inhalation and hydrogen infused water for consumption. Remember, holyhydrogen.com.
So welcome back to the Voyage to Vitality special broadcast. And now we have another 2 guests from our season 2 to share some laughter and some fun stories.
Yep, but first we're going to share a few more facts that we found fun facts that we found about the history of April Fools. I know we went over the first 5 in the first section, but did you know in Iran that April Fool's Day is actually celebrated on the 13th day of the Persian New Year, which is usually around April 1st. Any of you guys ever aware of that?
No.
I was not, no.
No? And then actually, I thought this was kind of cool, in medieval times, April Fool's Day was known as Hilaria. It's a day of games and pranks. People would dress up in costumes and play tricks on each other. So we're not the only ones that have celebrated April Fools, but it does say in the United States, April Fool's Day became popular in the 18th century, and it's been celebrated ever since. As a matter of fact, the famous comic strip Peanuts, which I'm sure many of you would remember Peanuts, that was created by Charles Schulz, it actually featured a character named April Fool who played pranks on his friends. Did any of you guys remember that?
No.
Do not.
I used to read those. I don't necessarily remember that character, but I do know Peanuts and Charles Schulz. And then one of the last ones that they had was the town of Gotham, which makes me think of Batman.
Yes.
In Nottinghamshire, England, claims to be the place where the tradition of April Fool's Day began. So legend has it that the townspeople played a prank on King John, and he was so impressed that he granted them exemption from tolls. Not sure that's, I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, as we've discussed before, no one's really truly sure where the true origin of April Fools came from. It's been rumored from France, India, all over, but we're obviously not the only country that celebrates it or participates in it. I don't know. Some people don't look at it as celebration. So I guess my first question for our guests is, we'll start with Glenna. Have you ever celebrated April Fools or participated in it?
Yeah, when I was in high school and middle school, yeah, we definitely did pranks on our teacher and some of those yucky songs we would sing about our teacher and the head being decapitated and stuff like that. Just, gluing her butt to the chair type of thing. I was always the one not participating. I'm always like, we're going to get in trouble. But yeah, those types of things, I whoopee cushion, stuff like that. I had an older brother who used to always do that and put pranks on me as well. And I'm just like, leave me alone.
So you never played them on anyone else?
I do now that I'm older. I'll do it on my husband.
And you've had some good teachings then if they've always been played on you.
Yeah, and our teachers, especially in school.
Yeah, you shared that. It reminded me of Sister Act when they do the glue and she's like glued to the chair and can't get off the chair. Cindy, what about you?
Well, I actually didn't really participate in April Fool's Day, but I did like playing jokes on people. I actually got in trouble at a job for having too much fun.
Oh,
I did.
That should
I
be a
got in
crime in
trouble.
itself.
Well, yeah, it was a fun story. The guy, I've forgotten his name, but his office was across from mine, and another woman and I shared an office. And I was new to the corporate world, and so he would play these pranks on me, fill the drawer with peanuts so you couldn't open the drawer. When you finally got it open, these peanuts would pop all over you. Or he would switch the phone around. This is back before cell phones, of course. I don't want to tell my age. And he he uh, he would switch it around. I'd go hello, and I would have to turn the phone upside down. I said, one day I'm going to get you. So I did. Got him really good. I asked the janitor if he would empty his office out and make a sign that said storage area. So he came into the office and he saw storage area and says, that's not that good. It really isn't. I wasn't in yet. I was coming in late because I was nervous as to what was going to happen. He opened the door. The other woman in the office was in, and she said, all he did was stand in the middle of the room and laugh, because all that was left was one paper clip on the floor. And then the guy, one paper, that was it. He just stood there and laughed, and I got called to the manager's office. We were working in a warehouse, and he said, you can't do this anymore. You're having way too much fun. And I'm thinking, this was a really good joke. Yeah, got in trouble.
It reminds me of the office ones. Is we used to always have fun with or other people would. I hadn't participated, but they'd have fun with all the sticky notes. Cover people's stuff with sticky notes and put them all over, or go out and shrink wrap somebody's car while they. And I mean tight. That takes a couple people. You got to shrink wrap that thing tight where they can't get to their car. It takes them forever to cut open the plastic to get to their car. It's I didn't do those, but kind of like Glenna, I was most of the times, especially if it was at work or something, I was normally kind of afraid of getting in trouble. But certain people, we knew who we could, get away with it. But did you have them played on you as well, or ever have pranks played on you that you can remember?
Yeah, mostly the ones were in the corporate world. The thing is, sometimes I'm a little ditzy. Okay. Just a little ditzy. So I just don't, bless you, I don't always get what people are saying. So I tend to take the more innocent approach, thinking the best of somebody. And they'll go, for God's sake, Cindy, would you just catch up? And I'm thinking, I don't understand what they're talking about, Yeah, and then it becomes a habit. People just start making fun of me. Like, you didn't get it. No. When I finally get it, he who laughs loudest, Yeah, that's me.
Oh, you're not alone. There's always a few where they're sitting contemplating, then it's you see a light bulb come on and whoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They normally lose their luster if you have to explain them. Oh,
yeah. And my sense of humor tends to be a little off the wall. I tend to, it's not like straight and narrow. It's which way shall I go?
Same here.
I know when I was at school, I mean, obviously many moons ago, but we used to get warnings just before April Fool's Day saying that anybody caught putting the plastic wrap over the toilet bowl underneath the seat would be suspended. Yes, that was something that was done quite a lot. It's at the high school, anyway, at the high school. Mm-hmm. So we're all told off in advance. Anyone caught putting plastic wrap over the toilet will be suspended.
Yeah. What about you, Glenna? Do you have any other, or what pranks can you think of that were played on you, or what was one of your worst ones or funny ones?
I think one of my worst ones was when, oh wow, I had a few, but one of the worst ones is when they locked me in the teacher's lounge so that I couldn't get out because I was allowed in the teacher's lounge to do things, and they locked me in there. So none of us or the teachers could get out, and what they were doing was going around spray painting stuff.
Did you
Like
say
in the bathroom.
scraping or spray painting?
Spray painting. They were going
Spray
around spray
painting.
painting stuff over everything, and it was supposed to be funny, but it was like, that's vandalism. That's not funny. And you live in the backwaters. That's supposed to be funny, and it's like that's not funny. Cow tipping is funny. That's not funny.
What's cow tipping?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and share. I know from watching movies, but please go ahead and share with everybody what cow
You push
tipping
over
is.
a cow when it's standing.
You push over a cow when it's standing.
Yeah.
When they're basically asleep, standing up, and you can just tip them right over.
And how do they get back up?
I don't know.
You just run and get out of there. You don't wait to see when they can get back up. But yeah, as a matter of fact,
I would like to meet the first person that decided it might be fun to even think about tipping over a cow. Why would you do that?
Because people are crazy. Try doing that to a bull, though.
Oh,
you better be running.
You better be running.
Oh, that's brave.
If you watch the Cars movie, that's where the tractor tipping comes up from, where they sneak up in the field where the tractors, and you make a loud noise, and the tractors all like freak out and they go. That's where kind of that comes from, is the cow tipping. Only in Cars, it's tractor, the animated movie Cars, it's tractor tipping. But yeah, so I related. Well, I will share with you something then, since we got onto farm animals. When you're in small communities or farm country, you can get really bored, because I can tell you, my fiance and I thought it was funny, but they did a thing called duck squat bingo out of boredom. You feed a duck a whole bunch of cheese, and you basically plug them up, and then you have like a football pool. You got a sheet with squares with dates and times that people bet on, and you stick it under there. What was not so funny for my fiance was he was the one that had the first watch, because someone's got to watch this duck until he does his business. And we're at whatever square he does his business on, that's who won duck squat bingo. And that's what you do when you're up North Dakota and you're bored.
You're bored. Oh my goodness, that poor duck.
But if the
That's what I'm thinking, poor duck.
But how do they know if the duck poops on the spot?
On the square.
Because someone has to sit there and watch them 24/7 and not take their eye off. And he got volunteered for that, so he was there at like 2 a.m. So that kind of backfired.
Oh
that
my
kind
goodness.
of backfired on him. It's just some of the things, weird, sense funny things people do.
Well,
so what are some fun things that you've done? Or
I was in Parker City in Utah with my brother and sister-in-law, and we went to a restaurant, and they left before me. I had to go to the bathroom, and I'm leaving out, and the waitress is going, Miss, and I'm thinking, we paid our bill. I don't understand why she's calling me. I had a stream of toilet paper coming out of my shorts like an elephant tail or whatever.
Oh my.
She's like, Miss. And I'm like, well, yes, you have toilet paper on your pants. I'm like, oh my God. I'm glad she did, because my brother and sister-in-law would have let me walk around with the toilet
see
paper.
how long, watch everybody's reactions. Yeah, gotta love those.
Thank goodness for the waitress. She was wonderful.
I think the funniest thing I ever did was I was at the park eating, and you're not supposed to feed the squirrels. So the squirrels kept coming up being like, I want your food. I'm like, all right. So I gave some squirrels some chocolate and other stuff like that, and then I didn't realize that he was going back to bring his friends. So all these, 10 squirrels came around, and I was like, okay, I'll feed all these squirrels. And then the park ranger came over to me, and he was like, you're not supposed to feed squirrels chocolate because they can have gastro issues. I'm like, can they explode? He goes, yeah. I'm like, no, they can't. And he was joking. He's like, no, but they can have problems. We're not supposed to feed them. But it was like one squirrel came up, and then he brought all his friends. I'm like, I'm going to be attacked by squirrels.
No, but I will tell you, they do get curious. I started feeding the squirrels here. I got the little corn cobs on the holders, and I put one up, and it took a little while, and I had 3, and then I put a second one up, and I had 6. I finally got up to about 15 squirrels. I think my neighbor picked off some of them, but I was up to 15 squirrels. I just keep changing out the corn cobs. They finish up the bird seed, and I like having them around. They just come up every now and then. They'll come. You'll see them looking in the window. They'll come a little bit closer and check. Then they go hightailing it out. They don't stay that close, but I think they're fun and entertaining to watch myself.
Our birds here, where we're at, since we have some woods behind us, if we don't put out the bird seed and it's wintertime there, they'll fly to the window. Perch on the window, and the cat's like, yeah, they fly and perch in the window, and I have a cat, so the cat's like, get the bird.
Ours are the same. We've got 4 cats, and they sit at the windows and they watch the geckos running around, or the squirrels, squirrels playing, and the birds landing on the deck outside. But we've got a huge big bird feeder, and usually when we filled it up, they'll go through like a 20-pound bag of bird feed in a season. And we started putting a camera out there at night to see what's going on. And we were wondering why it was going down so fast. And here is this family of raccoons raiding this bird seed. And they're swinging from it. They're swinging around and they're scooping it out onto the ground so that they can eat it from there. No wonder we were going through it fast. I
have suet packs and 100 pounds of, like 50 pounds of the wild bird seed and 50 pounds of the sunflower seeds. And they will go through that in a month. Not a season, in a month.
Do you want to hear a story about a possum?
Go.
We have possums that come up here. And there was this one baby possum that kept coming up on the porch, because we had cat food at the time. Because we had an indoor, outdoor cat. And it grew up going on the porch. So one day my husband went out there, and here comes Possum. He just scurries off, and he's trying to get through a lattice. We have lattice, and he's like, my husband, I walked out, he goes, Possum, you cannot get out the lattice. You're too fat for that. And he got stuck in the lattice.
Oh, no.
So we had to push him out.
That poor little thing.
Yeah.
We have them around here too. They're fun to watch.
I can tell you a quick story. This is from my younger days in the UK, where drinking was a real thing. We used to drink pretty heavily in Scotland. I don't touch it now, thankfully, but back then I used to drink quite a lot of alcohol. And this was about probably 18, 20 years ago now. My sister and I, got a younger sister, her and I went to this club in the town that I was living in, and we'd had probably several too many. And it was in the middle of winter. And to get to my house, we had this road takes a very sharp, it's like quite a sharp hill with a steep curve in it. And they have like a railing along the side of it on the sidewalk. And it was so slippy and so icy that the two of us are hanging on to trying to pull ourselves up this hand railing, killing ourselves laughing because we just couldn't stand it. It was too slidey. So that was the first part. But the second part was when we got into my house, made a cup of tea and we sat for a little while, and she said, I'm just going to go home. I'm going to go and phone a taxi. So we called a taxi, and then a taxi arrived, and she had obviously had way too many. So she was walking down, got several steps down from my front door. And on the way to the gate, I think she lost her bearings, or she wobbled a bit on these big high heels she was wearing. She turned around, did a 360-degree, lost her balance, and ended up head first in my hedge. It was hysterical. I had to pull myself up off the floor. I could not stop laughing. The taxi driver, she was exactly the same. She was killing herself laughing. And to this day, that is something, if we see something similar, like a reel on Instagram or Facebook or something, we'll send it to each other. And it's something that so sticks in our minds. But she laughs just as much about it now as we always did, but that was absolutely hysterical. That was something that made us really belly laugh. And when we think about it, it's still exactly the same. So it cheers us up when we think about it.
I actually have a drinking story, my own drinking story. I
Go
used
for
to
it.
drink quite a lot. See, now you brought up alcohol. Now all my bad stuff
We've
I
all
used
had those
to do
times.
is
Yes, that's it. That we used to do,
Used
Cindy. We
to,
don't
yeah,
do them
used to.
anymore.
no, I don't drink anymore, but
No.
because, I had to stop. But anyways, but the good news was when I got drunk, which is what quite frequently, I was a happy drunk.
Yes.
I was a loud one, but I was a happy drunk. So in Massachusetts, where I used to live, where I grew up, at the age of 18, it was legal to drink. But prior to that, my mother used to say, if you're going to drink, you're going to drink at home. So she'd let us have a glass of wine or, whatever. I tried beer. Oh, yeah, beer didn't work for me. There was a graduation party that I went to. And I started with this much gin in the glass and that much tonic. And by the fourth one, there was no tonic. There was just gin. And on the drive home, there was a hairpin turn that I had to go around. God knows that I'm so grateful I didn't kill anybody because I don't know how I made that turn without getting on the other side of the road or whatever. But the driveway that I had, we had a circular driveway, but my mother never wanted me to block the garage, so it was built up. So I had to get out. I'm drunk. I'd just seen the movie Carrie, by the way, with the bloody hand coming up. And I'm thinking, oh my God, my foot's out of the car. And I'm thinking, no, don't come get me. Don't come get me. I get out of the car. And I'm like, okay, I'm safe. And I said, and I take a step and I totally forget that the driveway's built up. And I go tumbling down all the way. And the next morning I wake up so drunk. And I have to pretend I'm not drunk because I don't want my mother to know or my father to know because my father was a bit of a drinker as well. Oh yeah, it was so funny. I went head over to, you see the story of the cartoons with the animal rolling down the hill?
Yes.
That was me rolling down the hill. Oh my God. Yeah. And then the other one. But I will. I had just started drinking and I wanted to go we were going, there's four of us, two guys, two girls, we're going to the Who concert. Does anybody know who the Who is?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I think
Yes,
we're old enough for that.
We're going to the Who concert in Boston. And I wanted to get drunk before the concert. So I decided we're going to go by. We weren't old enough, by the way. We were old enough to drive, but not old enough to drink. But I managed to get a bottle of wine. It used to have the straw at the bottom, and it was a rounded bottle straight like this. I drank the whole bottle and decided I wasn't getting drunk enough. So we had to go back so I could get more to drink so I could get drunk. Well, we get to the train station because we're taking the train in. I spend all the time at the train station vomiting because I drank so much. We go to the Who concert, and I lay down on the ground, cement, and I fall asleep. I sleep through a Who concert. I mean, who can sleep through a Who concert?
I don't think I could.
Oh yeah, I slept the whole thing. I'm like, oh my God, my drinking days were just starting.
I saw a guy do that in front of us at the Van Halen concert. All the loud music stuff going on. This guy had been passed out in his chair, from drinking and whatever. And when Eddie Van Halen gets to the really long guitar solo where everybody's tired, now we're sitting down. Oh, he stands up and he starts going. And that's the person that's going to go back and say, oh, what an awesome concert. When he was like passed out for pretty much because the person next to him pulled him down and he hit the chair and just back out. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, concerts are even more now. So I'm thinking, okay, why are we spending all this money just to do this? You weren't even there to really see it or enjoy it. But like, okay.
Just paid all that money to go for a nap.
Oh yeah, that's basically what he did. Yeah. Yep. Have no idea who
all
it was,
of you guys.
like, wow.
I'm the youngest one here and has never went to a concert.
You've never been to a concert? Oh my
Still?
goodness.
Nope, and my husband has. I have never went, he's went and seen a lot of people. He even went to Ozfest and stuff, and I'm just like, you got to see the people, and I haven't got to. I'm gonna be 36 in August, and I'm like, I've never went nowhere. But I lived in New York, and I went to Broadway, which he hasn't.
There you go.
Broadway's fun.
Makes up for it.
Be there live. It's got a different energy than a concert.
Oh, yeah. Well, depending on the concerts, too, they all have different energy.
Yeah. My husband, we were watching something on the TV last night, and he actually turned around and he said, I was actually thrown out of a nightclub one time when I was younger. He says, for falling asleep. You fell asleep like a dance club. And he went, yep. He said, I think I did one too many. He says, and I just fell. He can fall asleep on a dime, like at the drop of a hat. You could be sitting beside me on the couch at night, and the next thing he's the head nodding, fall asleep just like that. So it didn't surprise me. Yeah, it didn't surprise me when he said he got put out for falling asleep in a nightclub. I just couldn't do it. Too noisy places. Too noisy. So, Cindy, let me ask you first then. What are some things that you do that you really enjoy that make you laugh, that are fun things to do?
Well, I don't know if they make me laugh, but in case anybody hasn't noticed in back of me, I'm blocking a lot of it. I have a lot of crystals. I love to play with my crystals. Okay, I know that does not bad sense, but I just I stand in front of them and I talk to them, and I bring a smile to my face because guess what? They answer me. I know it's a little weird, but they really do answer me, and I have a ball. I go around. I have big ones too, and I go around and I'll stand in front and say, "Who wants to talk to me today?" And they
Do you have a crystal garden?
I have a Zen garden, which has got. I live in the Phoenix, Arizona area, so it's very dusty here. So I didn't do sand, wind, and all that stuff. So I have a white rocks, and I have a bunch of boulders that are circle, and in the middle I have what's called an andara. It's an interdimensional crystal that keeps the energy safe around here.
Yeah, I was learning about crystals and I was talking about building crystal gardens. I am familiar with Phoenix. It's where I met my late husband, was at Luke Air Force Base. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're a bit of a ways from that, but close enough.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know. Yeah, we lived in Glendale, which is Phoenix. To me, they just kind of, they all run into each other. And then it's like,
I'm northeast. I'm in Carefree, Cape Creek area. Okay. I say Carefree, and everybody goes, huh? I say Cape Creek. Oh, we know Cape Creek. I'm like, no, Carefree for a change. It'd be lovely. Anyways, yeah.
What about you, Anna?
One's my cat. I talk to my cat, and everything like that. So definitely her. I talk to my books sometimes when I'm reading. I talk to myself when I'm reading. I'll be like, hey, this is kind of cool. That's interesting. So I kind of that type of person that will out loud speak because it's just, I think it's inner dialogue. And something that makes me laugh, I think The Big Bang Theory. I think it's really funny. It's subtle comedy, but can be very funny.
The Big Bang Theory?
Yes.
It's a TV show.
Yep.
Oh, the TV show. Sorry, my mind went somewhere totally
different. That's okay.
It went like, whoa, way out there.
I was about to ask, are you talking about the actual theory about the Big Bang, or are you talking about the TV series?
Not judging, not stereotyping, but since she is 36, I'm getting, and I know my nephews and stuff really love the Big Bang Theory and stuff and think it's funny. I know it's a show, so I made an assumption that it was the show.
It's funny. It's that light-heart comedy. It don't have to be what I consider sick, if you know what I mean, or outrageous. I wouldn't say wholesome comedy, but it's comedy with
dry wit. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And that is something that is funny to me. Having a husband that's a know-it-all, it's kind of funny when he corrects you. So it's like.
What about you, Laura? What are some fun things that you like to do, you guys?
Laughter just kind of comes I don't know, organically, I will say. I mean, if we're going to go see something, like I said, I love Jeff Dunham. My family went that time. Like I said, we laughed so hard, my face hurt. I didn't realize I hadn't used those muscles so much, and my face just hurt from laughing. So I always love when he comes on, but we can make our own entertainment pretty much out of anything. I mean, Dakota and I take a lot of long car rides because we go back to see our family and see all this. And I don't care whether it's his music or my music, which I listen to anything. He's hard rock, everybody. He'll be sitting there and he starts changing the words and he makes his own words to the songs. And damned if I don't have those stuck in my head when the song comes back on. I'm hearing his words instead of like the real words. I'm like, thank you for that. I'm like, but it's just one of the ways we entertain ourselves on car trips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we'll do that off of shows and watching, football and football or racing. And I'm like, okay, they realize what that sounds like, what they just said. I was like, I interrupt just football.
I know we talked earlier about, going to see comedians and stuff. And the one comedian that I miss, he's from Scotland, was Billy Connolly. Do you guys know of Billy Connolly?
I've heard the name.
His nickname is the Big Yin, meaning the big one. And he had this really pointy beard, usually purple. And he would come away with some of the most hysterical one-liners I have ever heard. And one of my good friends back in Scotland, actually, we've not been in touch for ages. I need to get back in touch with her. But her and my thing was always to throw Billy Connolly one-liners at each other and note the response. And that used to have the two of us just, doubling over laughing with some of the things that would fire back. They were just hysterical. But yeah, if you can Google Billy Connolly and maybe something from, 20 years ago, because that was the most hysterical. And if you can understand him, then kudos to you.
Scottish accents, impossible. I worked in
sometimes it is, yeah.
I worked in Amsterdam, and there was a Scot, and I would drive him to and from work because I had a car. I'd drop him off at the hotel or whatever. And I didn't understand one word that guy said at all. All I did was go, sure, This guy thought I was wonderful, probably because I didn't say anything back to him, but I had no clue what he was saying. And then I get a message later from another guy. He really likes you. Yeah, well, I don't understand a word he said.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. He just was, thick.
Yeah, some accents are really funny. Yeah,
I think Scott Irish is easier to understand than some of the English stuff, especially when you get into Western English. It's like, what would you say? That's a whole new language.
Well, I'm married to a Brit, and I'm going to tell you, to this day, I still have to translate words for Americans. He'll say things, and they'll go, oh, my God. And I'm like, no, that's not what it means in Britain. Oh, yeah.
So, you start learning that about other countries. Because I was talking to this one pre, and we were talking about being stuffed. Normally, when you eat too much, you feel stuffed. It has a whole different meaning in Australia. It means you're pregnant.
I didn't know that.
Whole different meaning. So, yeah, you kind of have to watch who you're around and what you say. It's you say something like looking at you, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm not. I'm full from eating. Like, let me rephrase this.
In Australia, it's not the baby, it's Bubba. Everything's about Bubba. It's not about the baby, it's about Bubba.
Another fun thing I like to do is I think it's, you said fun and funny, is family history. And I think going down that way is kind of funny, especially when you find you have Scottish and Irish ancestry and then you're trying to read all the documents. It's like, wait a minute. This place isn't this place anymore. Because they changed names and stuff. It's like, wait a minute. This is not Ireland. Oh, this is before England took Northern Ireland. Okay. And you're trying to get all that. And then it's like maps. Trying to find maps. And it's like, I think the funniest thing was when I was looking up Welsh history. And I was like, wait a minute. This is Wales. Back in the Middle Ages. Wait a minute. Isn't this supposed to be part? I got tired of it. I'm just like, I can't do it. So I'm giving it to somebody who can, like my mom and husband. And they're like, it's right there in front of you. That's how all the names are. yeah, but it's all Mac and all that. I mean, son of this.
Confusion.
So I have to ask you guys, did any of you guys ever go through the phase just to drive your parents nuts where you took everything literally? Like if they tell you to cut it out, you stand there and you like cut it out. or if we were watching a movie with the family, my parents would tell us to go hit the bathroom, hit the sack, and that's my sister ran out of the room, smacked the toilet, smacked the bed, came running back in the room, giggling, and they're just like, oh my God. We went through our literal phase where everything they told us to do, we would do it literally. It's like do the literal meaning instead of what they meant. I don't know if anybody else ever did that.
Can't say I did, no.
Yeah, me either.
I think I was probably too scared to do anything like that.
Either that or we were just special. I don't know. It was just been special. Never know.
What about some other funny stories? Have you got any, or maybe some jokes? What about you, Glenna? Do you have some jokes? Don't make me tell you these bad ones I've got lined up.
No jokes that I can actually remember. I think the only one that I joke around about is me and my husband like Cat Williams. We like that, and he was talking about his son, and he was saying something about video games, and we'll say one of the lines from it, and I can't remember it. It'd be, and we'll do that, like little one-liners from that, and it's like, I think one of them was about like the cows growing horns. So we'll look at it and be like, okay, hopefully this ain't clone meat, and we won't grow no horns.
Cindy, what about you?
Oh, I've got an age one. I think it's
funny.
funny. Yeah, being the oldest in the group here. A few years ago, we had to move my parents into assisted living. And we would go at Thanksgiving and Christmas to visit, and we would eat our meals there. My mother would just pay a little extra for us. So, and I'm vegan, and so I got up and was just wandering around and talking with a couple of the servers, and I said, geez, it would be nice if you had some tofu for vegan. Well, you know what? You just talk to the chef and they'll do that. I'm like, wait a minute, I don't live here. My parents live here. No, not me. And so I'm telling this story to my husband's stepmother and his brother. We were visiting them in England, and I'm telling the story. Dead silence. Absolute, complete. You could hear a pin drop. There was dead silence. And my brother-in-law very bravely says, there really is no good answer to that. I was like, when did I get old looking? When did that happen? How did I get old? I was always, as a kid, really young looking, and all of a sudden I got old. I don't know. I'm not that old. I'm 65, by the way. But I'm old, but I'm not that old.
You're not old. No. Life begins at 60.
It really does. It's halfway.
Yeah.
I'm 56. I tell people I'm just getting started. It's only a number.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just getting started.
Okay, number. Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you, Christmas time is a time you can have some fun with people, especially if you have those people that nowadays, okay, my mom takes a lot of time to wrap and make the presents have a theme and all this stuff. So even my niece's son or baby is taught to ooh and ah before we tear into it. But when we were younger, we used to shred everything. So you can kind of fix that. You get a package and you get some duct tape. You duct tape that sucker all the way around. You give them a duct tape box and then watch how long it takes them to open it. Of course, nowadays our family's one of the boys. Oh, someone's always got a pocket knife. Just pop it out. Get the fun out of that. It's like, okay, who's got the pocket knife on? And it's like, all right. But we used to do that, or we used to try and trick people into thinking that they had something like really huge, and you get a huge box when there's really this small box in there with something, and you weight it down, and then you wrap it. So they think it's really big and heavy, and they get all excited, and they're just like going. Oh, I've got newspaper. Oh, I've got a phone book. It's like until you finally get to what the little present is in it. Good way to have fun with people.
I am clearly not a prankster. Based on some things that you guys have done, I tell you, I need to live a little more, I think.
If you get tortured enough when you're a kid, you learn how to start fighting back and just saying, okay.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Laura. You end up doing that. Especially with your own kids. You end up doing that with your own kids, and they're like, "That's not right," and they start crying. It's like, I'm sorry.
And until they get to that stage and they're older and they have their own kids, they'll see the humor in it then. Sometimes the humor comes later.
Yeah. Okay, what about some jokes? Do you guys have any jokes at all? Laura, I know you have. You must have some.
Oh, no. I shared the bad one last time, so you go right ahead with whatever you have. Because I shared I shared the knock banana joke last time. I'm like, no.
I've got some like just as backup here, but these are like cringeworthy ones. But hey, you never know. Why don't scientists trust atoms?
Oh, it has something to do with them splitting.
Because the apple fell off the tree?
No, atom, ATOM, atoms, I think. So
I know what that means. I was making a pun on it.
Okay, sorry.
Told you I don't think like Adam. Okay, he fell off. He ate the apple off the tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
Because they make up everything.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah.
Why did the Scarecrow win an award?
From hanging around, probably.
Because he was outstanding in his field. Why did the bicycle fall over?
It got pushed.
Because it was too tired.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh dear. What did one plate say to the other plate?
You're not shiny enough.
Lunch is on me. This one I like. This one jumped out at me. Why did the golfer bring 2 pairs of pants?
Can you say that again?
Why did the golfer bring 2 pairs of pants? In case he got a hole in one.
Got a hole in one. I was going to say, it's a golf thing. So it's like got to be a hole in one. In case he got a hole in one. Yeah.
Why don't skeletons fight each other?
Because they're just bones.
Because they don't have the guts.
You were warm, Glenna. You were warm.
Close, yeah. And the last one, okay, I'll spare you. What did one wall say to the other wall?
You're standing straight.
I'll meet you at the corner.
Oh, that's cute. Actually, that one's cute.
They're awful, really cringeworthy. No, never mind.
No, we had some awfully tacky jokes, but I will not tell them. I was like, they are not even appropriate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were when we were kids. They thought they were funny. I'm like, yeah, no, not. They lost their fun now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so. Do you have any, Glenna, of your favorites?
Not really. I know my son has done a few jokes, but I can't remember any. Kind of like what's white and brown and red all over that the sheep thing. I think I can't remember. What's white? I know what's black and white and red all over. Yeah, that. He's done those ones. Yeah, he's done those ones. I mean, there's been a few ones, but I never remember them, truthfully, because they're funny in the moment.
Yeah.
And repeating the same ones, it kind of loses its value. But I can watch different comedians that I like over and over because that's funny.
Oh, yeah. Certain ones, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
You ever find yourself watching those movies where you know what's coming up and you just start laughing before the part because you've already seen it so many times? It's like, I know what's coming.
I'm a little more spur of the moment in case you hadn't noticed.
Did you have any good jokes you could think of, Cindy?
No. I sort of just blurt things out as they come to my mind. Not always a good thing, by the way, but I do tend to blurt things out.
I will have those moments where I'm really quick to come back, and there's other times where it's just, Yep.
Yeah.
It's not coming to me. And by the time it comes to me, it's like, okay, now it's way too late.
Okay, so I think this is funny, and so many people don't think it's funny, and I'm trying to be funny. Just in case you're wondering, I have had ovarian cancer. I also have another type of cancer, stage 4. Okay, that's not the funny part. The funny part is I say to people, well, because I've already had ovarian cancer, I'm going to skip the breast cancer one. And everybody goes, look, your faces are all shockingly scared, like I'm going to say something that's hurtful. Nope, you're not. It's funny. I'm going to skip breast cancer. Yeah, no, you look at the look on your faces.
But it's having a different mind. So I will tell you, when my fiance was going to be losing a toe because of his diabetes, he did that, back in 2022 when we got here. Everybody's face in the hospital is like, you realize we're talking about losing a toe, possibly a foot. I said, I watch Shark Week every week. I said, Paul DeGelder lost an entire leg and arm, and he still swims with the shark. I said, we're talking a toe or foot, not the whole leg or the life. So we're good. Okay. Then they all kind of lightened up, and I'm like, lighten up. And, and even his doctor has to break the tension and stuff sometimes. And when he was working on a patient, and he says, well, this way it would cost you an arm and a leg. And his assistant just went like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, okay, you kind of have to have a sense of humor, which is kind of why Dawn and I wanted to do this. This is coming out near, around April Fool's time and stuff. But laughter is good. People forget to laugh. And the big, deep belly laughs and stuff, they're good for you. They're healthy. I mean, it releases all those endorphins. There's so many health benefits, to being able to smile. And I would say if you start laughing and smiling, and your muscles are like super, super hurting, then that probably says you are not laughing or smiling nearly enough.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not going to need plastic surgery if that's the case.
Do your own face lift.
Hey, it pops
They
out.
have laughter yoga. People do laughter yoga, and I think it's great to be able to do yoga and laugh at things. Like even some places have goat yoga. It's like goat.
I've seen
yoga.
that. Yeah, I don't know about laughter yoga, but I've seen the goat yoga. Wow.
That is goat yoga. Okay.
Oh, you've noticed goat yoga?
You're doing all your positions, your downward dog and stuff, and the goats are running about all over you. Yeah,
they could be
they're
standing
jumping up on their back.
Over.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'd like that very much.
I don't need a goat for that. I have a cat that does that.
Me too. I don't know what the aim of that is. I don't know how that would be helpful.
I don't know. I'm thinking you could do laughter yoga right next to goat yoga, because I'd be busy laughing at whatever.
Laughing at the goats.
The goats over there. Don't know about having a goat crawling on me, but it would be fun to watch.
I suppose it all depends on, which end of the joke that you're on. Are you the one giving the joke or the one in receipt of it? I remember when I was 13 years old, I was in the house, quite the thing, bare feet, and it was spring, which is really cold over there anyway. And my dad at the time was an SSPCA inspector, which is your ASPCA. And he was friend with the local police, and they used to stop by occasionally and have a cup of coffee with them. And they came in this day for the cup of coffee. And then all of a sudden, the next thing I knew, the two of them were dragging me outside, and they handcuffed me to the outside
so you
fence.
got stuffed.
They handcuffed me to the fence. And then the worst thing is, they went back in, had their cup of coffee, and I'm thinking, I'll hang it out here and things will be fine. When they come out to go, they'll let me away. No, they did not. They had their coffee, they came out into the car and drove off up the street. And they were away for a good hour before they came back and let me out in these handcuffs. I was mortified. No idea what I was supposed to have done, but I got handcuffed right at the edge of the street, at the beginning of the street, where everybody driving in was giving me a wave and a honk and a horn. And I'm like, some people are going to suffer when I get my hands on them.
That was a big military prank they used to do, especially when they were overseas. Is what they called it, cuffed and stuffed. They'd be going out drinking and, celebrating stuff. And then they, have somebody come in and pretend like they're doing something wrong and, read them their rights and cuff them and stuff. And then everybody would just crack up laughing because it was just a big joke, because military wise, you get arrested, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. But so, yeah, that was their sense of humor. But yeah, they called it cuffed and stuffed.
Cuffed and stuffed. Well, there you go. What a great conversation, ladies.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I needed a laugh after last week.
Yes, last week was one of those weeks. I don't know if everybody else had the same week, but I was so glad that Friday came along. Absolutely.
Why? What was so bad?
I was just really busy. Technical issues. I'm glad Friday came along. I didn't have to think about work for a couple of days and what wasn't going to work.
Yeah, definitely need laughter. But thank you, ladies, for taking the time to come back and join us and sharing some of the fun.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. It's lovely to meet you, Glenna. And thank you to the viewers watching either live or on demand. So until next time, just take care of yourself and make sure that you have many laughs. Thank you very much. Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.